Ah, more great stuff from the History Channel, but not even a single word about the innocent people who've been executed throughout history.
Huntsville, Texas. Lethal injection capital of the world, where more prisoners are legally put to death than in any other American prison. During the 1980s and 90s, Texas became the world's leading executioner.
There's no secret that we have the most active death row, the most active death chamber in the country.
Lethal injection is rapidly becoming the preferred method of execution throughout the United States. Critics believe that it is far from painless and that it can take a long time to complete the procedure. Larry Fitzgerald disagrees.
I can tell you how long it takes for the chemicals to work. We executed an inmate by the name of Jonathan Nobles, and he apologized and recited scripture as his final statement. He told the warden the signal to start the process would be when he started singing, and he sang Silent Night. And when he got to mother and child, he was dead.
After centuries of brutal executions, the quest for the most humane method of ending human life continues. It's been a long, dark journey. Thousands of years ago, as early civilizations developed, conflicts threatened the survival of communities. Chieftains and leaders were called upon to hear grievances and make judgments. Gradually, codes of conduct were drawn up, and along with these early laws came the concept of punishment. In almost all societies, the punishment for the worst crimes was death. The first tools of execution probably included fists, sticks, and stones.
Well, with stoning, it's almost instantaneous. If the community decides that someone is guilty of something, the community usually will take it upon themselves almost immediately, almost in the form of a lynching.
Although stoning was used on both sexes, it was predominantly used on women and people convicted of heresy, sorcery, and witchcraft. Some early cultures believed that criminal behavior was a manifestation of demonic possession, that the evil spirits could be transmitted through personal contact. Stoning became an effective method of killing at a distance, where a mob would continue to hurl stones at the condemned, eventually causing death by trauma. In the Bronze Age, the development of metal began a new chapter in death devices. In military executions, the sword was used to decapitate people found guilty of treason, cowardice, or mutiny. Ancient Rome introduced the practice of execution as public entertainment, where condemned men and women were sentenced to combat animals or gladiators before crowds of spectators. The Romans also introduced crucifixion and the idea of death compounded by prolonged physical suffering. Victims of the cross could take days or even weeks to die.
Crucifixion, a soldier would strap them up, and the community would come by and be able to stone them, stab them, break their bones, and generally it would take quite some time to die. Dehydration or muscle collapse would suffocate them.
Some 300 years after the death of Christ, the Roman Emperor Constantine abolished crucifixion after his conversion to Christianity. Throughout the Middle Ages, the axe became the blade of the medieval criminal courts, and its widespread use created a new position in the state, that of the headsman, the first executioner. But execution by blade was a crude and messy business. There was still a lot that could go wrong.
In medieval times, it was not uncommon for a person being executed to have to bribe the headsman to make sure that his aim was true and his blade was sharp. God help you if you had a headsman who didn't like you, because he might take more than one stroke to do the job.
In the 16th century, during the Holy Inquisition, numerous death and torture devices were developed. 2 survived to become official execution methods in Europe. Both were slow, horrible ways to die. Burning at the stake was made famous by the execution of Joan of Arc. Breaking on the wheel became widely used all over Europe, especially in Germany and France. Breaking on the wheel involved binding the nude victim, man or woman, flat or upright on a giant wooden wheel. As the wheel was rotated, several executioners wielding heavy metal clubs and hammers smashed the victim's limbs, joints, and skull. This brutal method would eventually be replaced by a new mechanical device, which was supposed to be quick and painless. Next, the strange story of the guillotine.